We must defeat tomorrow. You are listening to Lifer
Our
House
House Podcast. We are back with another episode, man. Hope everybody is doing A1 today, especially with this whole Corona stuff going on, man. Y'all just stay clean, stay sanitized, and stay safe out here. But get me back with another episode. Got another guest in the building, man. I came across this spot. It was a good little minute ago, but I'm always trying to find some good ribs out here because it's very, very rare. So when I pulled up, made my order, they even offered the ribs to come jerk. So I got my ribs jerk. Barbecue sauce was A1, but everything good. So again, we got the owner of the Pig Out. But before we start, what I'm trying to do, just to do a little icebreaker, whatnot, I got a deck of cards right here. So I'm just shuffling them up, and I don't know what question is gonna come off these cards. So it's a pod deck right here. So I'm gonna pull one and just ask you one of these questions and just give me your answer. What is your favorite hero of fiction?
Damn, that's a good one. I'm gonna be honest with you, dog. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Word.
I'm gonna tell you why, though.
What's up?
Because when I was a kid, I had the system, we playing it all right. It was cool, right? It took me to have a kid to realize how fly Sonic was. Like, Sonic really fly. Like, Sonic, man, that man, he for one, he fast.
Oh, yeah. Sonic
you
got
got to argue my son to death about who faster, Sonic or the Flash.
Yeah.
And then just like his demeanor, like if you make him wait, he gonna tap his finger, or he gonna tap, you know what I'm saying? So me myself, I think it's the speed from
Like, they got you with
Sonic
Sonic.
that'll make him the best hero because, and like I say, I don't know if you've seen the movie and all that. I mean,
The new one, I haven't seen
but
it,
it's
man.
just like it's a different approach to heroism, and the fact that my son loved it so much, it made me pay attention to it. So we rolling with Sonic on that.
Okay, if I had to choose one, let me see, man.
And see, people don't even think Sonic was a hero or nothing like that either. Though, so.
I couldn't even choose off the top of my
See,
head.
my
Really
son, he
would
would wrestle you to the ground about that. You can't tell him Sonic ain't the man.
Yeah. Okay, so we got that out the way. So just for all the listeners out here, just we want to start at your origin story. So you can go back as far as you want to, how deep you want to, just whatever info you want to put out. So just let them know your name, where you from, you growing up, that background, and how you got to where you are at this point today.
Check this out. All right. Rashard Partee, Memphis, Tennessee.
Hey.
From a neighborhood named Whitehaven, also known as Black Haven. And that's where I pretty much, I would say got my business formula from, just being able to, come out of Memphis. Because in Memphis, the grind did say Memphis, Tennessee, I believe. But yeah, that's where I'm from, Memphis, Tennessee. But the grind is just different in Memphis. You gotta go a little harder in Memphis. You gotta give a little bit to get a little bit in Memphis. So we get that type of mentality as far as, I guess you would say, the hustle. And when you mess around, put us in any part of the world and state, like normally our hustle kind of stand out a little bit more because we had to sustain so much, to get there. So that's where it started, man, in Memphis. And music is my background. That's where, that's my passion. It's hard for me to do things that I don't have a passion for, but that's my passion, music. And, I've been... Let's see. Let's fast forward. You would need a whole another hour to get all the way through that. But I would tell you, music was my background. Music is what got the Pig Out. Music is what got me in that mind frame. And I wrote, record, and manage just about everything of the industry wise, right? So once I got to a certain part of that, I needed to challenge myself more. And it was one of them things where I was trying to kind of find something else to do outside of music. Because as a good manager, when you get an artist, the first thing you're really supposed to do as a good manager is to find an industry outside of music that they can make money off of. Most time it's hard to find. Most people don't find it. But so I was at that point where, I love music, that's going to be there. But if I had to be my own artist and manage myself, what would I do? All right? So when I asked myself that question, I had to think about what I love. What would I do for free? Because that's the catch. See, you don't want to feel like work. Because you feel like work, you're not gonna want to do it.
Yeah,
not often.
Be happy there at
anyway. So when I asked myself that, I would normally barbecue. I knew it would be business because I'm always a business mind. So I knew it was going to be some type of form of business ownership, entrepreneurship. I didn't have my finger on the restaurant at the time. Mm-hmm. So when I thought about that, I was about to buy some damn 18-wheelers. I was about to buy some trucks. And then when I first got here, I remember I had bumped into a guy that had a deli and wanted me to be a partner with him. Mm-hmm. And the thing people don't understand about the restaurant industry, it's one of the things, you might always want to run a restaurant, but you might not necessarily, you might want to always own a restaurant, but you might not necessarily want to run it. Mm-hmm. Not
operations of it.
Man, not as flashy as it seems. It's really hard work, like really. So when I first got into it, like I went into the partnership with a guy with a deli, and that's when I had to learn. Like
this was in Memphis?
No, this was here. This was right down the street from, not far where we already are. Mm-hmm. That's a long story too. I ain't gonna go that far, but I will say, that's when I realized the restaurant business was an actual business. Like you had to run it, like clean the stuff, do the stuff that you not necessarily want to do. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's fast forward again. A couple of years went by. I bumped into a guy, and I'm from Memphis. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, Memphis is in my blood. Barbecue is in my blood, literally. Mm-hmm. My grandparents owned a barbecue restaurant in South Memphis. I never met them. And my, my siblings and stuff always tease me saying I'm channeling their energy or whatever because I never met them, but I went back into the business.
So you blood for real.
Yeah, so don't get me wrong. Now, whenever I'm at home, I could be happy, sad, stressed, relaxed, depressed, trying to just, you want to relax, you go outside and cook barbecue. It could be raining, it could be snowing, it could be whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's most Memphians that I know. So I was just out there doing that one day, and a partner of mine, DJ Paul from 3-6 Mafia, was doing his YouTubes at the time with the barbecue things, like showing you how to make this shit, like the little tutorials. So in a way, that kind of inspired me. I'm like, man, you know what? If I actually just take this serious, I might be able to, master some of these things. So I started watching his videos, making them myself and sending him the pictures and videos. He'd be joking, like, boy, look better than mine. So I was like, okay, you can't tell me something like that. So I got the more I did, I just played around with it. It just was, like I say, it was just a stress reliever for me. It was just, something to do to relax, all right? So one day I'm riding around in Covington, Georgia. That's where we ended up in Covington, Georgia. Mm-hmm. And I see a guy on the side of a building with a mobile barbecue station, selling his barbecue. Mm-hmm. And me being from Memphis, I see a guy selling barbecue. I gotta peek my head. I gotta be nosy. So I went over there, checked him out. He had a cool operation. Like you can tell it was family oriented. I think his daughter was taking the order. I think the wife was making the order, man. And I think he was on the grill. So I'm just observing. I'm just being nosy. I really wasn't even hungry. I just grabbed some chicken or something. I don't even think I was eating pork at the time. I had stopped eating pork probably 5 or 6 years before I went into business. I had to sample it. That's why I started back. But for the most part, I think I had just got some wings or something, just really being nosy. Then, but before I left, though, I asked him to have a car. I said, man, you ever thought about, going into an actual establishment, for yourself or whatever? Mm-hmm. And he said, yeah. I said, man, would you be open to having a partner? And he was like, yeah. So from that day forward, me and this guy was chopping it up, dog. We was chopping it up, I know, every day for about 2 weeks straight.
That's all it takes is a conversation, man.
Right? All right, so 2 weeks go by. The building we had an eye on, it was a different location. And we finally got our bread together, got everything we needed to step to the guy. We called him, building sold. The building already leased out or whatever. So we like, damn. That was a big monkey wrench in our operation at the time. So what we was, because we sat down and did the due diligence, as far as the market research of the area that place was in. So when that happened, man, I was kind of depressed for about 2 days. And then out of nowhere, my mama called me and said, it's a strip plaza over there, off of Blase across from the golf course. So I said, all right. So later on that day, I got up. I went over there, drove through it, just peeked in there. I said, damn, that is a little cool spot over there. And I wasn't even at the end. I'm on the end now where the windows at. I wasn't even looking at the end. I automatically assumed it was going to just be outrageous or something that I just looked at one of the little, normal places or whatever. So I instantly called her later, like, hey, what's the price on these? I'm interested in doing blase. And I ran it down to her, and this was the sweetest little lady in the world. I'm telling you, I honestly feel like she was an angel. If you was ever able to lease from somebody, this is who you want to lease from. All right. Now I know I'm talking to this little lady. She said, "Oh, okay. So after you explained it to me, I think you need the place on the end." I'm like, "The place on the end?" So I'm looking down there as I'm talking to her. I said, "Okay. So how much you want for it?" She's like, "Oh, they're all the same." I said, they all the same.
Hey, golly. There's every unit in that plaza, she was saying?
Yeah. So I'm like, I said, okay, say no more. Okay, what I need to do? She like, okay, give me this and this up front, blah, blah, blah. I said, go for this. She gave me a couple months, to get together. So this and I said, all right. Instantly hit her with her. But this the catch right here. I hit her with it, right? I did that. So I'm excited about telling this guy I've been communicating with for the last couple of weeks. Man, got his business, man. It's better than what we had. We thought, Nigga, to this day, he ain't answered the phone.
The guy you were supposed to be in partnership with.
He hasn't answered the phone till this day. I mean, I stopped calling him, obviously, but...
Yeah.
Nigga, I'm like, man, he was blowing me away. I'm like, this dude is not answering the phone. So I said, I had to minimize then. And that's how, I'm telling you, that's how it worked, because I really, technically, if I went in with him, I wouldn't even did the Memphis thing, because he had already had it set up the way he wanted to do. I pretty much going to invest into his operation.
Like as far as the name and all that stuff for it?
Yeah, everything. Whole shebang. I'm talking about down to the menu. So he was going to do it all himself. I was just pretty much investing into it, and I was taking a smaller percentage than I would have preferred. So when I hit him with it and told him, he like I said, I didn't tell him. I was hitting to try to tell him. I never heard back from him. So I already hit the lady with the deposit. I already locked the bill in. So I'm like, shit, I got to do what I got to do. I'm sorry for my language. I'm sorry.
Nah, you good. Hey, you speak free in here, man.
So when I did, I thought about it. I said, you know what? I can do it myself. I said, I've been practicing on these. And see, I kept it simple. I've been practicing on certain things that I perfected. Then I knew my area. I knew my market. I said, you know what? I don't need to do. I'm going to focus on 5 signature sandwiches. I focus on these 5 signature sandwiches. Everything else fall in place. That's what I did.
Good mindset.
That's what I did. So I went on. I hit it with the bread. I had the spot a year before I opened. But that year, when I tell you, man, no amount of money could have bought the experience that I learned in that matter a year before opening, because I learned everything. Like I had to ins and outs. I'm talking about, I talked myself out of it so many times. For a minute, I didn't think it was gonna happen. All right, fast forward to the grand opening. I was just really posting online and Facebook. I was doing 100% by myself at this point, 100%. All right, so I had to get everything you see in there. I had to buy again out of my pocket. No loans, no business. I just had to save up, grind up, and make the strategize. All right, so grand opening. We at the grand opening now. Only thing I did was social media advertising. And when I tell you, bro, by the time I pushed that light on to come on, man, I had a restaurant full of people. I was overwhelmed. I had an air fryer, bro. And I don't know how often you've been down there, but one of my things is air frying, because it saves on calories and it's a clean atmosphere. It's a clean atmosphere, right? Bro, I hadn't even broke the air fryer out the box before I had a restaurant full of people. Because I just didn't think it was gonna be like that. You know what I'm saying? So in a way, I kind of underestimated myself. But when it came down to it again, in that weekend, that's when I realized it was real. I said, okay, you know what? I gotta take the serious. I gotta everything I've been planning and wanting actually happen. Because see, sometimes in business, when you're an entrepreneur, you don't always expect it, even though you know it can and it should and it will. Yeah. You just always be like, man, it's just.
It's always that doubt in your mind.
Let me make sure. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And bro, it did what it was supposed to do. And now, a year later, we've been in business for a year now. It's still productive. It's still growing. It's still thriving. I mean, we had internal issues like any other business, but. Like people know, the first year in the restaurant business is probably the hardest. And again, the amount of information and things I learned and experienced in that time, money literally come by. You have to do it yourself. You have to spend the coin yourself to get that information. So that's what happened, man. And that's how I met you, bro. You came in there and
I'm telling you, the first time I came, I was hooked on that food. See, it was just coming from Decatur. You got plenty of spots you can get barbecue from, like everywhere you go. But out here is very rare, just because of the what area we living in. So all of that is not here. But when I found that spot, the customer service was great, and the first time I had the food, it was great. The ribs fell off the bone. I kid you not. Not even just because you here. I'm being 100%. That's why I say I had everything on y'all menu at least twice.
I'm blushing like a little girl over there. I'm sorry, man.
It's just the truth, man. When I walked in there, I was like, man, finally I can get a sense of, even though I know it's Memphis style barbecue, and I'm not from Memphis, but it's just the fact that this is some good barbecue close to home, and I don't have to travel all the way back to closer to the east side
to get what you need, what you're looking for.
To get what I need. So I commend you on that, man. It's a dope spot. So, but just for
But not to cut y'all though, my ribs are my pride and joy though. Like I take pride in those ribs. I practiced that recipe over and over until I mastered it. Because see, even when I was eating pork, I never was a big rib person. But once I got into the business, I realized that was going to be one of my sandwiches. The reason they so fall off the bone, because I want them to be so tender for a sandwich. I want you to be able to make a sandwich with it and then not have to wrestle with it. I want you to, when you get to the bone, slide it out and keep going. That's what I pictured the rib sandwich being. And I worked on it, dog. I worked on it, man. And my thing is my dry rub is what takes it over the top. I created a dry rub from some things, and that rub with those ribs and them Hawaiian rolls, dog. It'll make anybody fall off the wagon. I don't care if you ain't ate pork in 10 years.
When I seen it came with the Hawaiian roll, some folks just get a little regular roll. Yeah.
And I had a guy, man, it's a funny story. I had a guy come there one day, and in so many words, he was calling me stupid because I didn't have the white bread, the local white bread. He's like, man, how you gonna have a barbecue place with ribs now? I said, bro, try this Hawaiian roll. If you don't like it, dog.
If you never had a Hawaiian roll in your life, you missing out. The Hawaiian roll, the Hawaiian slices of bread, that too. Like shoot. That man tried that with the ribs, the barbecue with the Hawaiian roll, and I promise you, I see him once a week. I see him here, and he apologized. I'm like, dog, you ain't got to apologize, dog. I know how it is, man. Like, you ain't got to do that. Turn into a believer. But yeah, so for people listening, or anybody who may be interested in open up their own spot, whether it's a restaurant, well, let's stick to restaurants, in the restaurant business. Like I know you said before the year that you opened, like you went through a lot within that year of preparing for opening. So talk about some of the obstacles that you faced and the hurdles you had to get over to even get to the point of you saying, "Hey, I'm still gonna open this." Like, or what did you face mentally that could have probably told you, "I'm not doing this no more," but you got over that. So just talk about some of what you. I don't know where you got that question from, but that was head on, man. I had a situation, bro. I'm a thinker, man. That's one thing about me. I tried my best to think so far in advance to where when it come, it's not a surprise. I don't like surprises. So whenever something comes to me, I try to be prepared for it as much as I can because I called myself and thought so far in advance about certain situations. There's always going to be something that sidetrack you, obviously. But for instance, to capitalize or elaborate more on what you asked, man, when I first started, I had a general manager and I was going to have a chef. Two Caucasian people that I met on the journey, like I say, that year or whatever. And the one lady, she wanted to invest into the business. The guy was just, he had a passion to be a chef, right? All right. So the more I talked to this lady, she definitely seemed, she was presentable. She was talking the right language. I like, you know what? I'll give her a small percentage for, a little bit or whatever, right? So we end up doing a deal, all right? And I'm noticing, though, the more we getting closer, she keep trying to get more of a percentage. Like, hey, can I give you, I just gave you that, can I give you a little bit more for about 5 more percent? And shit. I'm like, every time she asks me, it's kind of throwing me off. I'm like, nah, sweetheart, we had to sit back down at the table, you know what I'm saying, and work some things out. But for the most part, I you know what I'm saying, I let you know. I mess with you as you see, so I'm going to be transparent. I open the books and show you, anything you need to see to, justify it or whatever. So we end up doing a deal where she had a certain percentage, but part of her deal was she had to do the administrative work. All right? So that took a lot off of me when I'm doing the build out. If she can be working on the, the black and white, the health inspection stuff, all the the licenses and things you got to get. So I'm thinking like, damn, that's dope. Then she gonna pretty much run the day by day operation. That's another part of her duty within the contract, was to pretty much run the day by day operation. So in my brain, I'm like, cool, shit, I got this set up. So now I'm working on the build out, just trying to make sure I get the build out going, right? So as the time went by, which was this is probably all of a 2 or 3 month time frame. A lot happened in that time frame. After you had officially got the spot.
Yeah, after I got the spot already now. I got the spot, I'm in the spot, paying the the bills without making no money. And I got a lady wanting to invest because it was a good idea. Because once I broke my model down and pitched it to anybody that had a couple of dollars, they'll probably want to especially if you know the area too. Because see, that was a big thing of where I'm located. I'm located right across from the golf course,
the Oaks Golf Course,
and that's a big deal. Sorry about that, bro.
You good?
And So she was with it. So we did that. So right, we coming up to the end of it, right? Where we getting ready to go submit the paperwork in. Tell me why.
Oh man.
I guess she didn't think I was gonna review the paperwork or go through it, right? All right. And this is from down to the Secretary of State, the name and everything. Secretary of State is what actually flagged it. That's what was my first red flag. Everywhere on the applications and contracts where the owner name goes, she put her name on it.
Oh man, come on, man.
She put her name. This is a true story, bro. Public record. You can look this up. I'm pretty sure because we had to go to court about it.
Damn.
She put her name pretty much everywhere my name was supposed to go. And this is the first red flag, right? Secretary of State called me because we sent the paperwork off. It's been a while since it came back. So I get a call from the Secretary of State, and she says, "Hey, we failed. They revoked it or whatever because see, they real. I don't know if the word was revoked, but they denied or whatever for that license. They real tedious about that. You can't have a comma out of the place. You got to make sure everything matches everything, right? And they only do members and managers in that process. So again, she doing her normal due like she did on all the paperwork. She was putting owner on there with her name next to it. So they flagged it because they're like, hey, it's only members and managers. You can't put owner on her. So when I called to see what was taking so long, she told me that, hey, we flagged it because of blase blase. So at that point, I ain't even confront the lady off top. I waited. I hit a lady on that day like, hey, it's a learning experience. We got denied or whatever, but we'll work from there, we'll grow from there. But hey, moving forward, I need the rest of the paperwork to make sure we don't have any more errors. And that's when it started. I know she was really in defense mode when I started asking her that.
To see the paperwork?
Yeah, like let's review it. Let's get ready because we don't need any more errors. And I was lunching, but I was like, hey, I'm gonna send it off to one of my attorney guys, let them finish it up for me because I'm so busy on this. Don't worry about it, sweetie. Don't sweat it. You know what I'm saying? So she started woofing at me at that point. I can show you tell. She started going back, I can do it I can resubmit. Like, nah, don't worry about resubmitting it.
And at this time, because you already knew what was going on, you was already up on game.
But my thing was, I'm like a lawyer to it. So I wait till I got all the artillery to bring it. So you got to just pretty much come clean by the time. You know what I'm saying? So she sent me. She eventually dropped it off at the restaurant. So it was like maybe 24 hours had passed. And man, sure as it smell, I got the paperwork. Everywhere my name was supposed to go as owner, this crazy person, this how I knew, this when I knew I was dealing with somebody that wanted that bright. She had white out everywhere.
Come on
all these sheets. And I'm going to tell you how simple it was. You just hold up to the light, and you can see where her name was in there. And then I guess she forgot this point, but she even created an email for me. And I never had seen an email. So when I got the paperwork, I'm like, what is that? That's not even my email. So boom, she instantly get into that mode where like, we're gonna go to court. So I'm like, okay. And in my brain, I don't like court. So I was still slick trying to wheel and deal. I like, man, I tell you what. Just don't come to the restaurant. Like, I give you a percentage every month. Just don't show up. Like, I don't need you to do the general manager. I don't need no paperwork. But for the money that you gave me, I still give you a percentage for it. But at this point, she was feeling herself. I guess she thought that, again, I just looked like this. She didn't know that I was, I guess had a little sense. Yeah. So she kept going on with this court thing. I said, all right, well, if you want to go to court, let's go. And I got subpoenaed. So I guess I was I'm going to court. I'm actually kind of nervous on my way into this court system. I never been in court in Covington, Georgia, so I didn't know what to expect. So when I got to court, I'm looking around my surroundings. I'm getting more nervous. Yeah. And before you go to the judge, they always call you up there and give you a chance to go out there and work it out with, whoever you in there with. But me, I'm sticking to my guns. I step out and she's like, hey, what you want to do? You want to give me this? And I said, nah, I'm cool with what I offered. So I'm good. So we went back in there. And, bro, we got in front of the judge. And mind you, she's supposed to be doing administrative work, where I'm thinking she got some smoking gun in her bag that she carrying around, like some paperwork that's going to mess me up. I ain't do nothing wrong, but I just had that anxiety about the situation.
I can understand
so we got in front of the judge, and me, I actually did have paperwork. I had all my paperwork. I had everything I thought I would have needed because I did some YouTube. I did a YouTube education. I went and looked up YouTube and said, what do I need for small claims court? So I went through and I said, okay, I got everything I could think of that I needed. So luckily for me, that day in court, a lot of people didn't have any paperwork. So when the judge got to me, I handed him my paperwork. He said, finally, somebody got their paperwork. So I like, I relaxed a little bit and he said, like, okay, cool, shit. I started feeling myself a little bit when he said that. All right? But I still don't know what she got. So we getting ready, we explaining our things to her, what happened, this and that. And she had one document. The one document that she did have is what put the nail in her coffin. She had the document from when I canceled the name, because the Secretary of State, remember I told you, Secretary of State is the one that flagged it. So I asked her, I said, hey, at the Secretary of State, how do I get her off of the business? How do I get her name off? She said, you have to cancel this. You have to terminate this business and start a completely different one. So when I terminated it, they sent her the same email they sent me because her name was on it. So when she got that email, I guess she assumed I wasn't doing business no more. I guess she thought I wasn't gonna do it.
Folded or something.
Yeah. So that's the paper she got the whole time. And that was the one paper that freed me. Because when she gave it to him, the judge looked at the paper, he said, oh, this business has been terminated. He said, it's like the stock market. Sweetheart, you gotta, well, he used the phrase, you gotta lick your wounds. That's what he said. You said you gotta lick your wounds. And he said, is the business closed? I said, no, I still plan to open. I told him saying I had to shut it down to restart it again and remove her from it. And he said, I'm sorry, ma'am, you just gotta lick your wounds. It's nothing I can do. It's out of my hand.
Gotta come through.
Boy, you should have seen the look on her face. And I had my son with me, right? As I'm leaving out of the courtroom, I told my son, I said, we won. He said, yay. He jumped up. I said, boy, let's get out of here before something happened. But long story short, she tried to swindle me out of the business, which halted things for about 3 to 6 months throughout that whole ordeal I just explained to you. And it was nervous. I'm telling you, it was a time I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't know what it was because, I thought she was going to be able to, she was relying on just who she was, I guess, to, think that she was going to win the case. And I ended up winning the case, got 100% of my business back. And technically, this is the catch. I bought the smoker from her. So that was the only thing I wanted out of the deal. Anyway, that's how I met her, just because I was trying to buy her smoker. But she didn't want to just give the smoker. She wanted to go in business. Yeah. So the only thing I had to do, bro, was pay her for the smoker. And we were square. I got 100% of my business back. I didn't have to give her none of the money she invested into the business back. Oh, so technically, right she paid for the smoker.
That's sweet right there.
That's a true story, Doc. That's a true story. It happened just like that. I might have, man. You know what I'm saying? I sped it up because I didn't want to kill your time.
No, you good. You good, man.
It happened just like that. Then when I'm tell you how it worked, because I started noticing stuff. Like, it seemed like every time I'm getting to a brick wall, something happens to reassure me that it still can happen.
Yeah, man.
And when that happened, dog, you could not tell me nothing. Although I got to accept more of the workload now. And the chef guy I don't know if they was in on it because he started tripping around the same time. So it could have been something that they probably tried to do and double cross me out of, thinking that I didn't know no better. I'm riding around, paying sag and jumping in. You know what I'm saying? They didn't think that I was,
somebody got some sense. They the book by
they thought they was gonna be able to swindle me, and they didn't. And dog, when I tell you, man, I don't know what I'd have did right now. I had to get that later percentage of anything right now, bro. And my best friend told me that, bro. When I was getting ready to do it, like, dog, I don't know what she give me, bro, but you ain't gonna like giving her that 30%. You ain't gonna like giving her that 20% when it's time to do it. So think about that.
See, man, you try to fuck somebody over, your karma gonna come back. Might not be now, tomorrow, but it's gonna come back. I know probably sitting somewhere. Yeah, I know she's somewhere sad, boy. Try to invest into a business, try to screw somebody over to take their business, and then you got shut on by the judge, and you lost your investment, and you still got the smoker.
And see, the thing is, though, man, people see me, and they automatically, they think they prejudge me. And I promise you, bro, I was so transparent with her.